Ukraine to maintain a strong army. We worked very hard together with the UK Prime Minister to have a French-UK proposal to say we are ready to send troops, not to go to the front line, not to go in confrontation, but to be, in some locations, being defined by the treaty, as a presence to maintain this peace and our collective credibility with the US backup and a US backstop. We didn't tariff the US. We want to cut red tape for us as Europeans, and it will simplify the life of your companies, fine. But I think the solution in this very moment is not to increase tariffs. Why? Because the emergency is to increase our defense and security expenditures. I understood your priority is to put tariff on China because President Trump said they are unfair with us. Come on, you cannot have a trade war with China and Europe at the same time.
Thank you very much.
Viewers, in my hand are the excerpts of the CAG report, the Comptroller and Auditor General's reports, which are making huge news across the length and breadth of this country today. What is the CAG? The CAG, viewers, is a public-spirited body that is the guardian of the public welfare. Viewers, it checks if the government is using taxpayer money to further the public interest. Viewers, the Aam Aadmi Party that swore that it is honest to the core, Kattar Imandar is the word they used, a Hindi colloquial phrase, honest to the core, should have been doubly mindful of the proprieties involved in immediately making public CAG reports that were prepared, auditing the schemes, the construction, the infrastructure construction and other projects that the AAP had enabled with taxpayer money, viewers. Because the CAG is concerned with tabulating whether the government is spending your money, our money, honestly. And a government sworn to honesty would make sure that those reports, good or bad, would be out in the public domain. The CAG reports should have been placed in the public domain by the AAP Delhi government 490 days ago, but they were never tabled in the State Assembly. Here's a look at how many days the CAG reports were overdue. State Finance and Audit report pending for 490 days. So we don't know, viewers, what the state, the AAP government was doing with our money. Whether they spent it judiciously, honestly. There was a report on regulation and supply of liquor in Delhi pending for 278 days. Report on prevention and mitigation of vehicular air pollution pending for 490 days. Viewers, that report now says that there were many irregularities. I'll come to that. Report on revenue, economic, social PSUs pending for 490 days. Report on finance accounts pending for 490 days. Report on appropriation accounts pending for 490 days. Report on children in need for care and protection pending for 490 days. Were these delays because the public works and other activities undertaken by the AAP government were riddled with wrongdoing? The answer could well be yes. The report suggests that AAP was taking Delhi's Janta for a big ride. Your channel has accessed details of 3 out of 12 CAG reports, and viewers, those pages are on your screens. What were these 3 out of 12 CAG reports doing? They were auditing the Kejriwal government. Now let's examine their conclusions one by one. Let's begin with the report on public works, in specific the effort to renovate the Chief Minister's official residence. Not only was CAG report on the so-called Sheesh Mahal not tabled by the AAP Delhi government in the assembly, but vital documents were not supplied to facilitate an audit on opulent construction that was undertaken. CAG claims this. I am not claiming this, viewers. But despite this reluctance to supply the necessary information, CAG was able to establish several lapses, misappropriations, and unbudgeted expenditures in the tendering, construction, and execution of the work on the controversial building, also called the Sheesh Mahal, popularly called the Sheesh Mahal. It said, viewers, that the work was awarded at 13.21% above the estimated cost. Okay, that can happen. 13.21% is not the hugest number. But work was finally completed at 342.21% above estimated cost. The work completion ended up 290% above the tendered amount. In other words, the cost of building the Sheesh Mahal was 4 times higher than the actual estimate. The initial estimate was 7.91 crore for some refurbishments. In 2020, contract awarded at 8.62 crores. In 2022, the final cost goes up to 33.66 crores, 4 times the actual estimate. Now, if you go item-wise, the extra spend comes into even sharper focus. Where was all this money, extra money? Burma teak agreement cost rupees 1,87,970. The substitute cost was 7 lakhs. Imagine the jump, viewers. The extra payment was 5 lakhs. Then viewers, floor tiles. The agreement was 5,51,000. The actual cost was 14 lakhs. The extra payment was 9 lakhs. Almost 10 lakhs viewers extra over and above budget amount. Shower mixer agreement. You can see that was also, viewers. Shower mixers. Can you believe it, viewers? 4 lakhs extra. Thermostat shower mixer. Brass lever handle. Yale agreement. That extra payment came out to 60,000. Wall tiles. 46 lakhs more. I don't understand, viewers, how that can happen. Now let us look at the CAG report on the liquor excise policy formulated by the Kejriwal government. Here too, CAG estimates a massive loss of 2,000 crore to the exchequer. Now AAP says there's been no loss, notional loss. But here, viewers, the CAG says that there was a loss of rupees 2,000 to the exchequer. Licensing violations, discrepancies in how Excise Department monitored and regulated the liquor supply, lapses in licensing process, common dictatorship among businesses, licenses issued without checks, lack of transparency in pricing. There are a whole lot of various findings, viewers, that have come out. Hindered enforcement actions, concentration of certain regional brands in illegal trade, inadequate quality control. It was supposed to be a very democratic policy where liquor vends would be open in different parts of the capital. They would sell equal amounts. There would be no monopoly. There would be no concentration of power in the hands of one vendor, etc., etc. Viewers, a lot of that was overlooked by the Aam Aadmi Party. I mean, the facts, as you can say, from inadequate quality control to raids conducted without standard operating procedure, lapses throughout enforcement process, inaccurate inspection reports, flawed show cause notices. So even if people were doing wrongdoing, viewers, show cause notices were flawed. They didn't need to answer. The most damning report is the one on Delhi's public health infrastructure that establishes AAP's disregard for the well-being of Delhi citizens, of you, viewers, of you, the people who voted for the AAP in huge numbers. The CAG report on Delhi's public health astounds you, viewers. Underutilization of COVID-19 funds. The centre released 787.91 crores. But viewers, only 582 crores were used. Rupees 30.52 crore for health staff, unspent 83.14 crores for drugs. PPE unused, failure to expand hospital beds. 1357 beds added, target was 32,000 beds, viewers, from 2016 to 2021. They did nothing. Bed occupancy rates exceeded 100 to 189%, viewers. Patients made to share beds or lie on floors. We've seen those visuals, but they said those were aberrations. Delayed projects and cost overruns. Hospitals complete within delays of 3 to 6 years, cost overrunning total of 382 crores, severe staff shortages. I mean, the list is just endless. If I were to read out this list for you, viewers, today, we would spend the whole evening. Maternal health program failures, only 50 to 58 to 93% funds were unutilized, viewers. Can you imagine? 58 to 93% funds. And they said that we were working for women welfare. Drug procurement failures. Hospital procured 33 to 47% of essential drugs directly due to CPA's inefficiency. Long surgery wait times. 2-3 months for general surgery. 6 to 8 months for burn plastic surgeries. 12-month wait for pediatric surgeries. Even babies, viewers, they had no compassion for. 10 critical equipments were non-functional. Non-functional infrastructure. Beds are lying unused, disused, misused. Missing critical services, ICU, blood banks, oxygen, mortuary, ambulance services absent in 8 out of 16 out of 27 hospital, viewers. It's just shambolic. Shambolic. The findings overall are there was systemic mismanagement, there was fund underutilization, infrastructure neglect, compromised Delhi's healthcare capacity during COVID-19, urgent reforms needed in fund development and deployment, urgent reforms needed in staffing and project execution. All of this was buried, viewers, never shown to you. So you went voting blindly, believing all orally what Mr. Kejriwal said very sanctimoniously to all. He gave a lot of interviews where soft questions were lobbed at him, etc., etc. Won you over, viewers, won you over. But unfortunately, the CAG says nothing was done. Let's open this up because some fundamental questions have to be asked. The most important one, and I want this to go straight out to Syed Abbas, who has been an AAP candidate, viewers, in the past. It's a simple question, Mr. Abbas. Why did Kejriwal keep CAG audit reports pending in some cases for 490 days? Why, sir? कहते हैं transparent थे. They were the most transparent. They believed in transparency. They kept this information from the public. Why? Why, sir? Is that transparent?
Firstly, Rahul Sahab, I think thank you for doing this story because this is most important. Atishi ji has done a press conference in this matter. The Excise audit report which was presented in the Delhi Assembly today. Let us understand, Rahul Sahab, that the first 7 chapters on the excise policy from 2017 to 2021 and 1 chapter is on the new excise policy. Let's come to the 2017 to 2021 where the 7 chapters speak of corruption, speak of smuggling of liquor from Haryana and UP. Which government is ruling in Haryana and UP back then, 2017 to 21? Bharatiya Janata Party. Under that policy, liquor was brought in illegally from Haryana and UP. Let me also bring to your notice, sir, that as per the report, there was 28% corruption which was being done by contractors and money was going into the pockets of brokers. And yes, Atishi ji has also alleged we know which party, the ruling dispensation, due to which all this corruption was happening. Also, the report mentions that the Aam Aadmi Party government took the right decision by removing the old policy. Why so? Black marketing of liquor, smuggling of the same, inflation of prices, and of course, the power conserved in the hands of the brokers. The real question is, what was the Haryana government and the Uttar Pradesh government doing about this?
Okay.
Illegally liquor came in.
Can I ask you on that point? Can I ask you, Mr. Abbas?
Rounds up. Just 30 seconds.
Yeah.
30 seconds, please. Thank you. Also, let us understand, in the 8th chapter of the Comptroller Auditor General's report, what does it say? The same report mentioned that the new policy had transparency, ways to stop black marketing, and revenue should have increased through this.
Okay.
Now, let me bring
Mr.
you
Abbas,
Punjab government. Just Punjab government. 65% revenue increase, sir. The same liquor policy,
Mr. Abbas,
which was
Mr. Abbas, let's not talk about Punjab. I don't have the figures there. One second. Is the AAP the B team of the BJP?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Now, you said that this CAG report exposes the BJP. That Atishi is saying that all the chapters except for 1 focus on how smuggling was happening from Haryana, Uttar Pradesh. So, viewers, why didn't the AAP bring it out and table it on day 1 and said, see, we told you. It's the BJP that is corrupt. It is the one that is smuggling. That's why we need a new policy.
I will answer that.
One second. I haven't finished. But you know what they do, viewers? They bury it. They bury it, viewers. We're still only talking about the liquor policy. What about the rest, viewers, that I've gone through? The entire sham of great health infrastructure which I've gone through. No answers will come. Why was that report scuppered, viewers? Never put out. And let me tell you how much time that was scuppered for. In fact, I have all the details here, viewers. Just give me 30 seconds. I'll just pull them out. I've already brought them up to your attention. But let me just tell you that that report, viewers, was buried now on children in need for care and protection for 90 days. For 90 days, viewers, that report was buried. Why? Why, sir? Abbas Saab, इसमें भी आप बताएंगे कि BJP was responsible?
Rahul Saab,
Yes.
Rahul Saab, I will answer your question.
Please.
Very, very fair question, sir.
Yeah.
And I will answer that. Just 30 seconds, sir, just to finish my point. I appreciate
No,
the time, Rahul
answer
Saab.
my questions.
I will
Look,
answer.
you
I will
will
answer.
constantly blame the BJP. My simple question was, if the BJP was so bad, what prevented Kejriwal from coming out? He gave hundreds of spoon-fed interviews. He could have told his interlocutors, the interviewees, ye sawal pucho na. But he never put it out. The government that was known to record, one second, to sting people left, right and center, record everybody, catch them on candid camera, including all the Yogendra Yadavs of the world, etc., could not put a leak out. Could not expose the BJP.
Since we are talking about the Comptroller Auditor General's report, sir.
Sir, I'm only asking you a simple question, Mr. Abbas. I'm not going into the report. For a moment, believe that the report incriminates. One second. Abbas Sahab, please. Listen to me. For a moment, forget about it. I don't want to go into the details. Neither are you in a court of law, neither am I in a court of law. Let's go by common sense. The common sense is this. If all these reports incriminate the BJP, why were they not tabled? It's a basic question. I didn't ask you whether the reports were right, whether the reports were wrong, whether the AAP is corrupt, whether the AAP is not corrupt. I just asked you, why weren't these reports tabled? It's a basic question. Why?
Very fair question, sir.
Yeah.
Rahul Saab, the respective reports should have been tabled.
Should have been. But why? Why weren't they tabled? Viewers, you see on this show, I get the hard facts to ask the most simple question.
Rahul Saab, only questions to answer. CBI, ED, IT is yours.
It's okay, sir. It is okay. It's fine. The point is, no, hang on. Viewers, this is the difference. Now, hang on. Let me just tell you, viewers, because I've done my research and I've come here. Okay, give me 30 seconds. Abbas साहब कोई बात नहीं. सब सबका ही है. सब हमारा है, सब taxpayer का है. You can go to court. Okay, I don't want to bandy words with you, Abbas साहब. I only asked you a simple question and you conceded that yes, these reports should have been made public. The question is, why does anyone hide anything? Let me open this up. Okay, Abbas saab, it's fine. I understand. The ED is completely a caged parrot. Fair enough. The courts are caged. The parliament is obviously caged. The opposition is also a B team. Everything is only working for Modi. Fair and lovely, sir. I get it. No problems. But Abbas Saab, that still doesn't stop us from asking the basic question. Why weren't these CAG reports put out? Now, let me give you a bit of a fact check, viewers. Now, look at the NDA's record. Viewers, the NDA came to power in 2014. That year, it put out 44 reports by the CAG nationally. 53 the next year, 2016, 38, then 51. Now, this, viewers, 2012 and 2013, look at the UPA. UPA put out 27 and 27, 33 and 41. In fact, the NDA did much better in putting out CAG reports, even though it did not pretend to be kattar imandar. Yes, Prime Minister Modi said, na khaunga, na khane dunga. He's probably walked the talk. Look at the numbers. Viewers, they speak for themselves. In a couple of years, there were dips, and those dips have been criticized. But all the reports otherwise have been tabled. 36 were tabled in 2022. I have data only till mid-2023. 18 were tabled by then, mid. So it would have gone up to about 36 or whatever if you just do an average. I'm not getting into that, but fundamentally speaking. But let me bring in Charu Pragya. Charu Pragya, how do you respond to Mr. Abbas, saying that all these reports cut both ways? You were also part of this, that, the other. Why are you making such a song and dance out of these CNAG reports when at the national level no one talks about them? That's what the Shiv Sena UBT is going to say. Some of its leaders are saying that. Could you respond tonight?
Rahul, good evening. But first, let me begin by responding to the mention of Punjab by my friend. Please remember that even in Punjab, the Congress, not the Bharatiya Janata Party, the Congress has asked for an ED probe into the way you're running your liquor policy. So there is your answer about Punjab and the so-called revenues that you're projecting. But coming back to the topic of the debate, Rahul, let's understand two things. One, there is the optics of things which point towards criminality, and two is the actual tabling of the CAG reports today. Why I'm talking about optics? It's because it is important. Since 2017-18, 14 CAG reports have not been tabled in the Vidhan Sabha. 14 reports, and these are important reports. They talk about the pollution situation, they talk about the liquor policy, they talk about the Sheesh Mahal, even healthcare system in Delhi. Very, very important issues. All 14 of these reports buried by Aam Aadmi Party. Why this discussion started? Because BJP MLAs actually went and knocked on the door of the court and said, where are these reports? We need to see them. The people of Delhi needs to see them. That's where the conversation started. Let's not forget it, because had it been left to Aam Aadmi Party, they would have just done away with all the reports forever. Now, what do these reports say? Number one, the reports explain to us that Aam Aadmi Party basically used 11 years in governance to sell off Delhi.
No, I've actually recounted all of that. I've put it out there.
In an extremely cruel manner.
But Charu Pragya, the question that you need to answer is that some of these reports, according to Abbas, cut the other way. Of course, Abbas is not going to do a mea culpa and say that big apologies to the public of Delhi. We did not submit these reports in the public domain for people to make up their independent mind. Now, we have only what Mr. Abbas is saying to go on. So, please put it in perspective. Your defense on the charge.
See, the fact is that wherever BJP is in power, CAG reports are going to be tabled. It is up to the public or the opposition to criticize them if they must. Please do that. My point to you is basically simple. For all the years that you said the reports talk about BJP, why did you never mention it once? Why did you never bring it up in
That's a logic common sense point. That's a very logic common sense point and
why
question.
Did you not do
Mr.
that?
Muni,
And
if these reports were cutting the BJP down, why didn't you table them? I come back to that question. Let the public decide. You were so transparent. You used to go for referendums on every issue. Should there be odd even, you would go for a referendum. Do you know what the reports are saying, sir, about the pollution mismanagement and the manipulation of the readers, the instruments, how they were placed next to green bushes to bring down the pollution count or to misread it? Do you know what is being said, sir? That you were actually allowing people to asphyxiate in this capital of ours by not telling them that they should not be going out, by actually manipulating the readings. I mean, this is an assault on people's lives. Forget about livelihoods. Mr. Muni, and you didn't want to table these reports. Why? Why weren't these tabled? Why wasn't this report about... No, hang on. I want to ask you this specific question. Let's go one by one. Let's go one by one because I only believe in putting the facts out there. I want to ask you, why was the report on prevention and mitigation of vehicular air pollution, why was it kept buried for 490 days? Can you answer this question? Muni sir.
Yeah. Happily. The process to table a report is that the report is sent by the CAG to the Honorable Lieutenant Governor, and the Lieutenant Governor gives it to the government to table it on the floor of the assembly. The government, that is here, the Delhi government, has given the report to the Honorable Speaker of the House. And the Speaker of the House has to do, and Speaker of is not a partition person of government or of opposition. The Speaker has been given this report and the Speaker had to table it.
Okay, whose Speaker was it? Mr. Muni, whose Speaker was it?
Hey, I am asking that.
No, I'm asking you. Whose speaker was it? Was it the AAP speaker? Was it the AAP speaker?
Speaker is a constitutional position.
Okay, so the speaker viewers was in collusion. No, what is Mr. Muni saying? Ishkaran Bhandari, what is Muni saying here? Okay, Professor Muni, you are completely sir. Sir, आप सब पे टोपी चढ़ा रहे हैं sir. Let me tell you, I don't know sir, but if the speaker was one second. If the speaker viewers, if the speaker if the speaker is so out of your control, if the speaker viewers is not working in an upright manner, you can bring a motion to replace him.
देखिए,
Do you not know this? Ishkan Bhandari, could you respond to Mr. Muni? He's saying that the speaker sat on it.
Yes.
AAP speaker sat on it.
Yes, Rahul, I want to respond to this first. Rahul, before
Okay,
I
let
come
him
to
finish.
what I want to say, I
Let
want to
Mr. Muni
respond to
finish.
this.
Let Mr.
Rahul,
Muni
can I
finish.
please?
Let Mr. Muni finish. Okay.
Let me talk upon the contents.
Yeah. No, I don't want to talk about the contents because the contents, viewers, is not up for discussion. They will come out tomorrow. I want to ask you, why wasn't it pending? Why was it suppressed? You've said speaker sat on it. The speaker was appointed by the AAP, viewers. Speaker was appointed by the AAP. The AAP chose it. The AAP voted for the speaker. If you lost confidence in the speaker, Ishkan Bhandari, what happens? Can you please explain to Professor Muni?
Yes. Rahul, today, Rahul, it's a question to me now. Can I please answer? Rahul, today we saw Aam Aadmi Party throwing the speaker under the bus the same way by not signing files. Mr. Kejriwal used to throw Mr. Manish Sisodia under the bus. That is the exact same strategy they are applying on CAG, that the speaker did not table it, the speaker is responsible, the speaker belonged to Aam Aadmi Party, and the speakers are frequently changed if they do not go as per the party wishes. That is the scheme of the governance in this country. But let's come to what the holistic part is, why the CAG reports were not tabled. Please remember, Arvind Kejriwal came on certain planks. One was ending VIP culture. We saw what happened. He had those fancy cars, private planes, and you have documented the amount of money spent on the CM's house from the same person who used to question how many ACs in the house of Mr. Sheila Dikshit, the then CM, are there. The second was, I will not do corruption, I will not stick with corruption. Sab mile hue hain. We saw him milling with Lalu Prasad Yadav to Sharad Pawar and also his own party members, his own ministers, and he himself going to jail. That is what happened to his corruption plank. The third plank was, let's not have personality center politics. क्यों कुछ परिवारों का या कुछ लोगों का राजनीति के ऊपर ऐसा ग्रिप है कि वही बनते हैं. When he is in jail, we saw how the government was run. Once he comes out of jail, Atishi Malina has an empty chair. If that is not personality politics, what is? And lastly, transparency, because they used to say mere allegations on a sheaf of paper without any government report is enough to send a person to jail. That was the level of transparency they wanted. But when they are in power, they hide those reports and they have no good answer to the question you have asked, which is like a laser, has gone to the heart of the matter, that if the reports are in your favor, with your publicity budget of hundreds of crore, why did you not publish the reports which are in your favor in the assembly and in the newspapers? And if the reports were against BJP, why did you not table them and take appropriate action against all those people who were involved in it? Because you don't have a good answer to that, because the only answer is all that you promised when you were not in power to get power, while in power you did 10 times of that, and that is why you have been dismissed from the politics of Delhi to the extent of losing your own seat.
Arvind Kejriwal swore on his own 2 children, saying, I will never tie up with the Congress. He did exactly the opposite. He swore and said, I will never take security. Then he says, no, I need it. He said, I'll never move into something bigger than 2 bedrooms. 2 BHK ke saath se zyada, I will not occupy a bigger place. Viewers, he moved into a accommodation that was renovated at a cost that was inflated by 290%. The renovation cost 33.66 crores. Viewers, you go anywhere in South Delhi, you ask a builder, here's my plot of land, make me 4 apartments. He will not spend 33.66 crores in making 4 apartments, viewers. Anywhere. Nowhere.
Rahul Sahab, can I quickly rebut my
Yeah,
dear
yes,
friends,
of course,
please?
Abbas Saab. Please
Thank you.
tell me
Thank
why
you.
the delay?
Thank you. Rahul Sahab, you know, there is absolutely, since you've asked me a pointed question, I will give you a pointed answer. Absolutely, sir. On your show, I definitely say this should have been tabled. There is no doubt about it.
Why should it have been tabled?
Now allow me, sir.
Why should it have been
30 seconds
tabled?
to articulate.
But why
30
should it have
seconds
been
to just
tabled?
articulate my point.
No, finish your
Please
thought.
allow me.
Why should it not? Why should
I
it have been
answered your
tabled?
question. Now allow me 30 seconds.
Abbas
sir,
Saab,
please.
why should it have been tabled? Please tell me.
Rahul Saab, 30 seconds, okay? Thank you, sir. Ishkaran Bhandari, who is an advocate, of course, but look at how one-sided BJP support he gives. No question on Haryana, no question on UP. Sir, have you read the report? There's a clear mention that this liquor was smuggled from Haryana and
Okay.
UP. Why?
Viewers-
You keep quiet because it's BJP government.
Viewers, that is
No
not the
question on
point here.
BJP.
That matter in any case.
No, Rahul, I want to answer this.
Okay, answer.
I want to know, I will answer that. If some smuggler is smuggling a liquor, that is a criminal activity which has to be caught by police of Delhi and Haryana both. How does it reflect on the government? Smugglers, do they bootleg? Of course they bootleg. That is the reality. But
Okay,
is the
my
report
point is,
blaming that
viewers,
the ministers
if
in Haryana
everyone
are
knew,
bootlegging?
if
What
the
logic is
CAG
this?
had pointed this out and that report was suppressed for days altogether, almost 1 year, viewers, the AAP could easily have gone to court and sought the court to intervene and take action, suo motu, to stop this smuggling, issue directives to the Union Home Ministry, to Amit Shah's office, etc., etc. Viewers, they didn't even do that.
So everything AAP should do, BJP government.
Why not, sir?
No
You are
accountability.
saying, aren't you in charge?
No
Isn't the
accountability
AAP in
for the
charge of the
Bharatiya
welfare
Janata
of the
Party
people, and they feel so strongly that they could have brought out a new liquor policy? Clearly, they knew the old one was not working, it was leading to smuggling, etc., etc. Didn't they want to go after the smugglers?
Now,
Are
let
you
me
saying the
tell you
Aam
what
Aadmi
the
Party is such a
said on the
benign
new
party?
policy.
Okay, let me bring in the
let me
Shiv
tell
Sena
you what
UBT.
the
CS Jha, your party is supporting the AAP.
Observed and reported
Your party is
that
supporting the
new
AAP. Can I
policy
ask you a
was
simple... Okay, Abbas Sahab, 1 minute. You answered the question that I sought. You said, yes, they should have submitted these reports. The reason, viewers, they should have submitted these reports, which Abbas Sahab will not tell you because it weakens his argument, is because the AAP would have looked much more transparent as a party, much more committed to honesty, walking the talk. But it suppressed them. So, CS Jha, I have to ask you this question. Do you think this was in the interest of governance to suppress the reports for so long?
1 point, Rahul.
See, it is never in the interest of public to suppress any report.
Yes.
But eventually, if you see the reports which have been placed by the central government also carry discrepancies as well as many unearthed scams which happened, like Dwarka Expressway scam, which was highlighted, but no actions were taken because discussions on with regard to the report of CAG was never discussed in Parliament at any moment of time. It was produced, it was in the it is in the public domain, but eventually if you see, they were never discussed. Now the thing is that eventually if we rely on the CAG report, each state report or the central report, whether these discrepancies results in an equal loss or it is a notional loss. So those things have to be
Okay,
decided.
1 second. CS Jha, just a follow-up question to you.
Can I please respond?
Yeah, okay, respond. BJP wants to respond and then a follow-up question. Yes.
Yes, very quickly. You know, just to give you a reminder, you are talking about these reports today because none of these reports have ever been buried. If you found a problem or a discrepancy, why didn't you talk about it? Call a press conference, at least write a post on X or Twitter. You didn't even do that. And as for Dwarka, no, 1 minute.
Okay, maybe
1
you're
minute.
not telling
As
intervention here.
As for Dwarka Expressway, no, 1 minute. As for Dwarka Expressway, our Honorable Cabinet Minister Nitin Gadkari ji actually went to Dwarka Expressway to explain the expenditure. Can you please tell me at any other point of time who else has done that? So since you're using the example of Dwarka Expressway, remember this. Gadkari ji actually went down on ground zero.
Okay, 1 second. This is an important point. CS Jha is saying
are raising
that these
discrepancies
reports,
when we see
hang on, that these reports, at least they were tabled, viewers, he's conceding that, but nothing happened after that. Now, Ishkaran Bhandari, I want to bring you in because you have a very close understanding of the 2G scam. The 2G scam was based on a CAG report, and you know that then comptroller even wrote a book about it much later. And I want to ask you, where did that matter end up? Did it not end up in court? So if there was a CAG report on the 2G scam and there were such glaring inadequacies and the potential of a scam, etc., etc., and the government at that time, the UPA, wasn't wanting to do something about it, Dr. Swamy and others, why did they go to the Supreme Court? Can you explain, Ishkaran Bhandari? And was that avenue open to the AAP or any other opposition party in this country, yes or no?
Yes. Rahul, that is how the democratic setup in this country happens, that there are certain independent bodies like CAG which come with a report which expose the government, and the job of the opposition is to then use that to go to the public and as well as go to the courts. That is why these reports being tabled is so important, because once they are tabled, once they are tabled in the assembly, once they become part of the record, then these are documents people can rely upon to go to court. Is that the reason AAP did not want to table it?
Okay.
Because once they became documents publicly available, people could have filed cases on that. And if AAP believes or Congress believes that any BJP state is, after having tabled the report, there is still some corruption, they can of course go to court. But why aren't they going to court?
Why didn't they go to
Mr.
court?
Kejriwal have to apologize to leader after the
I have
leader,
put the facts out
former
there,
union
viewers.
ministers?
The
Because they don't
NDA
have
has
substance.
put out the CAG reports, the National Controller and Auditor General's reports every year in Parliament for anyone to see. If there are, and they have also put their responses. Anyone found those responses inadequate, they could have moved court. So on that point, viewers, this argument crumbles. On the second point, which was on the delays, finally, after interrogating almost Abbas Saab, he concedes, yes, they should have been put down. But viewers, they weren't. So the question is why? What was so explosive in these reports that needed to be buried? And if they were so anti the BJP, they were so exposing of the main party at the center, why wouldn't the AAP pounced upon them to get mileage? It's not a party, viewers, that sits back on its heels and says, no, let things slide. They would have, viewers. The point is they didn't want to, because the truth in these reports now, viewers, of course, it's all open to contestation. If the AAP has a problem with the CAG's report, they can also go to court. But I would expect the BJP now to move forward, to get the agencies involved, to investigate all of these things and then file cases. Otherwise, it'll all be showboating, viewers, for polls, and that will not be a good thing. I want to move on because there's an important story that we are talking about, viewers. And we are all invested, viewers, in our democracy. And we want our democracy to be a robust one. The only way a democracy can be truly robust is if the opposition is strong enough, independent enough, robust enough to ask questions of the government at the center, to pincer it, to push it onto the back foot if there is wrongdoing. You've already been part of a debate where the opposition quietly sat on its hands on CAG reports. It hasn't pressed the envelope. They say on TV that there was a lot of corruption, etc., but you know, what could we do? It wasn't raised, etc. So they quickly, very transparently, very clearly distance themselves from the fallout of the CAG report. Viewers, a weak opposition means that the government of the day is never held to account. And that's why, viewers, the health of the Congress, which is the biggest opposition party, matters so much, and it's a matter of discussion tonight. The Congress ecosystem is in deep despair because they perceive that Shashi Tharoor, a 4-time member of parliament, has been sidelined by the Congress High Command. This is their firm belief. Shashi Tharoor, in fact, sparked speculation when he went public with a rather direct message aimed at the High Command. He said, and I quote, "If the party wants me, then I will be there for the party. If not, I have my own things to do. You should not think that I don't have any option to spend time. I have options. I have my books, speeches, invitations from across the world for talks," unquote. This was Shashi Tharoor, Member of Parliament, expressing a certain degree of frustration at the fact that his capacities were not being utilized. His talent was going to waste, that he was stagnating professionally within the Congress. Tharoor, it is said, was chafing at a purported ticking off by Rahul Gandhi in a meeting that he had or sought with Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi was upset with Tharoor, apparently, from all our sources, for straying recently from the party line, especially when the Kerala MP praised the Prime Minister's diplomatic proficiency in engaging Trump. There was also, a few days after that, an article that Mr. Tharoor wrote praising one element of the left government in Kerala's economic policy. Very small sliver or sliver of their working. He didn't say that the Kerala government had transformed the economy of Kerala. He's only talking about one particular department in which they had done well. And viewers, when Mr. Tharoor commented on the Prime Minister and Trump's meeting, there is talk that things started going a little wrong between him and the High Command. Mr. Tharoor said, and I quote, "I think that's a very good outcome because otherwise the fear was there might be some hasty decisions made in Washington which would have affected our exports. This way, there is time to discuss and negotiate. We have got all that we could have expected except for an assurance in the way the migrants were sent back," unquote. This was Shashi Tharoor, Congress MP, February 14, 2025, making that statement. Soon after, he has a meeting with Rahul Gandhi. I don't know what transpired. Sources are saying that he was given a bit of a ticking off, a rap on his knuckles, this, that, the other, and the rift between Tharoor and the party high command sort of spilled out through all this conjecture into the open. Now, this rift, this purported rift, has not gone down well with the Congress ecosystem. Sanjay Jha, who was a prominent member of a group within the Congress that wanted to force intra-party democracy, shot off a letter to Rahul Gandhi. And he said, quote, "Dear Rahul Gandhi, I am writing to you publicly here because no one within the Congress is probably going to tell you this. So as usual, let me bell the cat. Leadership, corporate or political or any other, is about having difficult conversations. It is about troubleshooting. It is not about living in denial. Problems have to be addressed. They cannot be wished away. You and I both know that Shashi," referring to Tharoor, "is an outstanding parliamentarian. He is probably among the only few in the country to whom the cliche 'he needs no introduction' truly applies. It is therefore disappointing that once again a great asset of the party is being forced to talk to the media to get his message through to you or the Congress leadership. Almost 5 years to the date, I was compelled to write an article in a national newspaper when facing a similar predicament. No problem is intractable. The key question is, do we have the will to solve them in everyone's interest, and that too quickly? The Congress must be focused on taking on the BJP, but a prerequisite for that is to first get the house in order. This cannot become an ongoing unresolved challenge for years as it paralyzes the energy and drive of the Congress workers and supporters. The challenger party has to be swift, desperate, risk-taking, hungry and on a constant prowl. It cannot be business as usual for sure. We need to hit the nail on the head going forward, but right now we seem to be hitting our head on the nail." And this goes on, and Sanjay Jha ends by wishing Rahul Gandhi good luck to act on his sage advice. Now, while the sentiments, viewers, are misplaced, Sanjay Jha's sentiments are misplaced, as the Congress is essentially a family fief. Many close to the Gandhis believe that this cabal of restive Congress members and ecosystem types are ingrates. That's what they think of Tharoor and company, viewers. I spoke to a few of them. And they say that the Gandhis gave them opportunities, that all along they were happy to accept what was thrown their way. And now that they want more, they are biting the hand that fed them. Didn't they know that what they had signed up for? Perhaps instead of whining, these Congress well-wishers should accept what they already know, that irrespective of caliber, talent in the party can only rise till it hits the Gandhi glass ceiling, and that they should therefore either quit the party or form their own Congress, viewers. That's my advice to them. But who am I to give advice? Let's ask some of the people who are the principal stakeholders. And I want to begin today with Sanjay Jha, no less, and Kamru Chaudhary, both from the Congress, both long-standing members, one contested elections. Sanjay Jha, national spokesperson. Sanjay Jha, look, your point, of course, is well taken. It's always been in the interest of the Congress party and the larger movement. You want to see a strong opposition, so do we. We're all Democrats. No one wants a weak opposition. We all know this. One was hoping that the Congress would have been able to put its point across more emphatically by bringing in all the reforms that Rahul Gandhi promised when he became the president of the party, holding primaries, rejuvenating the party from rank and file upwards. You and I have shared this. Many others have shared this view and belief. But I want to ask you, Sanjay Jha, why do you think that this has not dawned on the Congress party?
Rahul, that's a question to which I think a lot of people are struggling to grasp with what their answer should be. Because my experience, and I think you are a veteran in the space of media coverage, is that political parties make a mistake, you lose elections, they happen, but you learn from them. I think the biggest disappointment for me personally has been that when I see the Congress losing, I would like to see the party getting a lot more agitated, more worked up, more anxious and more determined to fight back. You know, you should never take a defeat casually, in my opinion. And I feel that for a party that's now struggling, a lot of people call it an existential crisis, you have lost a lot of good people already. You can't fight back if your talent, whatever there is further going to be vanishing into thin air. And as you rightly said, everyone needs to see India as a strong democracy. And I'm assuming that
But
even
why
BJP
does it vanish?
supporters.
Why do people leave? Why did the Sindhyas leave? The Himanta Biswa Sarmas leave? They've done so well for themselves. The Dioras leave. The Jatin Prasadas leave. So many have left.
Well, I can tell you, these have all been colleagues, they've been friends of mine, and my experience has been not my own, but even talking to them, that at some point there seems to be a complete paralysis when it comes to communication with the top leadership. I think there's a complete breakdown. And I feel that the Congress, Rahul, is a big tent party. Take Sashi's case, for example. I mean, I'm sure you know him, I know him as well. One of the most accessible people, so easy to get along with. I, in fact, used to be astonished as to how somebody who's, a busybody all over the place, everybody wants to meet him. And even if somebody wants to meet him at short notice, he finds time. So if somebody like Sashi is being pushed to the precipice, where he says, listen, I need to consider other alternatives, the Congress has to really ask itself, you are doing something terribly wrong. And I addressed it to Rahul for only one reason. I know that eventually he's effectively the de facto leader of the party.
But is he the problem? Who is the problem?
I think the larger issue here is that the Congress, I can tell you, Rahul, has got into this mindset where it's beginning to tell itself that, especially after the very successful Bharat Jodo Yatra, that now Rahul is invincible, invulnerable, and his word is like, written in carved stone.
Okay.
And I think we got to accept the leaders are fallible. You're going to make mistakes. And Rahul probably is a good ideological, warrior for the party. But running a party requires a very different, a more ruthless, disciplined, a more what I would call as an appetite for a win. Someone who sulks when they lose and fights back the next day. You can't be a good loser in politics, in my opinion.
Okay.
One thing which I like about Mr. Modi, and let me tell you up front, is the sheer, kind of every time they win an election, he addresses his people in the evening. He's motivating his people for the next fight. The fact is, you got to learn from your adversaries. I think the Congress's biggest mistake is there are books in the public shelves in libraries and bookstores that says, how does BJP win? It's
Okay,
written by
so somewhere
Prashant Jha.
Sanjay Jha is saying that perhaps either Rahul Gandhi should make way or there should be a more receptive advisory board around him that is extremely, and this is an important point, Mr. Chaudhary, you need to address this, is extremely ruthless. That, okay, if things are not working out, people go. People go from the system. But Rahul Gandhi stays. He's the only CEO. And there are all sorts of maths that have been done about the number of elections that he has lost. Venugopal has lost several elections, 45 elections since he was appointed. Nothing seems to happen. These people don't go anywhere. And the people who are delivering, winning election after election, doing well, etc., are not given the opportunity to lead the party in any which capacity.
Yeah, Rahul, good evening. First and foremost, I have known Sanjay Jha over the last few years, and a nice gentleman. I believe he represents a ideology of the Congress, wherein despite being out of the party, he has been defending the party on all public forums to the core. He has never shifted his loyalties from the party. But having said that, after being out of the party, let me be very critical of how Sanjay Jha thinks about the Congress party and what's happening out here. I believe it is influenced by his personal bitterness, which affects his ability to provide an unbiased or a strategic assessment of the party's challenges.
Wow.
His calls for internal democracy and accountability are valid. There is no doubt any organization faces that. But his narrow focus on leadership failures without considering the broader political dynamics makes his perspective incomplete and myopic. And why I say this, you see, I joined the Congress party inspired by Shashi Tharoor out here. When he said in a seminar wherein Sanjay Jha was also a president of the All India Professional Congress from Maharashtra, he came down to Calcutta and we are attending a seminar on dissent and democracy. I believe Sanjay Jha knows that. In that dissent and democracy, Shashi Tharoor made out a point that for a democratic organization or a democratic country to survive, to come out successful, is the dissent that is most important. But dissent in a criticism and criticism in a productive way, in a proper forum, will take your party towards
No, but Mr.
greater
Chaudhary,
heights.
all he's saying is that the High Command is not receptive, that there are people who are constantly given sinecures, jobs, promotions, etc. when they're not performing. What is wrong in that?
No, perform. You have to perform on perish. It's a
So no one
political system and
perishes.
organization.
Who has perished?
No,
Venugopal
no.
is still there. Kharge has lost so many elections, he's still there. Rahul Gandhi is still there. No one is perishing. They are calling the shots.
No, Rahul, if you...
No, one second. Let me just bring in Sanjay Nirupam. Viewers, this is somebody who has been a very big grassroots leader in the Congress. Let me just quickly bring him in. Rajat is also there with us. Ishkan Bhandari there with us. Rajat Sethi, I'm just coming out to you. Let's just quickly make a segue and go across now to Sanjay Nirupam, who also left the Congress recently. Now, Mr. Nirupam, you've been hearing the conversation. Is the frustration vented by Tharoor on his sidelining in the Congress now commonly perceived because there is an unspoken glass ceiling, sir? What is happening here?
कांग्रेस पार्टी में टैलेंट का कोई वैल्यू नहीं है, कांग्रेस पार्टी में मेरिट का कोई वैल्यू नहीं है। कांग्रेस पार्टी में उन्हीं लोगों का वैल्यू है जो परिवार के आसपास घूमता फिरता रहेगा और उनकी जय जयकार करता रहेगा। As far as Shashi Tharoor is concerned, Shashi Tharoor is one of the most talented politician of India. Though he is in Congress, जो फॉरेन अफेयर्स की समझ होती है शशि थरूर के पास जबरदस्त है। शशि थरूर एक इंटरनेशनल डिप्लोमेट रहे हैं, यूनाइटेड नेशन में नौकरी करके आए हैं और कंटिन्यूअस जीत रहे हैं। ठीक है, हम लोग तो हार गए मान सकते हैं, लेकिन वो कंटिन्यूअस जीतते हुए आ रहे हैं। तो आज अगर वो कंप्लेन कर रहे हैं कि हमारी बात नहीं सुनी जा रही है, तो निश्चित तौर पर ये कांग्रेस पार्टी का एक इंटरनल एक प्रॉब्लम है और एक बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है। और ये प्रॉब्लम मैंने भी महसूस किया और ऐसे बहुत सारे लोगों ने महसूस किया। अब होता क्या है कि कांग्रेस पार्टी से तंग आकर के अगर कोई छोड़ के जाता है तो कांग्रेस वाले क्या कहते हैं कि देखो इनके पीछे ईडी लगा था, इनकम टैक्स लगा, इसलिए अपनी जान बचाने के लिए। जी नहीं, सब लोग कोई जान बचाने के लिए नहीं जा रहे। जिनके पीछे ईडी लगी तो उनके जाने की अलग मजबूरियां होंगी, लेकिन उससे भी बड़ी मजबूरी है कि आप पार्टी में हैं और पार्टी में आपकी सुनवाई नहीं हो रही। आप पार्टी में हैं, आपके पास मेरिट है, पोटेंशियल है, टैलेंट है, बट नोबडी इज गिविंग वैल्यू टू योर टैलेंट, योर पोटेंशियल। सो पीपल गेट फ्रस्ट्रेटेड। So lot of congressmen who have something in their hand, lot of congressmen who are basically having some potential, who can contribute to the party, they are not being listened by the party high command. And party high command मतलब फैमिली और वो थोड़ा खड़गे जी वगैरह, वेणुगोपाल जी। कोई भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चलता है ना, तो उसमें एक बेसिक सिद्धांत ये है कि जिसने अच्छा काम किया उसको रिवॉर्ड मिलता है और जो परफॉर्म नहीं कर सकता उसको परफॉर्म और पेरिश बोलते हैं ना।
हाँ, सो थरूर साहब को क्या करना चाहिए? शुड ही क्विट? शुड ही व्हाट शुड ही डू?
अब ये तो थरूर जी का फैसला है, थरूर को क्या निर्णय लेना है, लेकिन थरूर के टैलेंट का वैल्यू कांग्रेस पार्टी में नहीं होगा। मैं जो एक बात कह रहा था उसको आपने रोक दिया। कोई भी संगठन चलता है तो उसके दो सिद्धांत होने चाहिए कि जो आदमी अच्छा काम कर रहा है उसको रिवॉर्ड करो और जो आदमी परफॉर्म नहीं कर रहा उसको सजा दो। अब वहां पर एक थरूर जी के स्टेट के वेणुगोपाल जी हैं, उनके संगठन महासचिव बनने के बाद से लगातार 40-42 चुनाव हुए हैं, जिसमें मुश्किल से 5 या 6 चुनाव कांग्रेस जीती है। आज तक उस व्यक्ति से पूछा नहीं गया कि भाई तुम्हारी परफॉर्मेंस का मतलब क्या है। You are not able to perform, so you should perish, you should be removed from your post. But because he is very close to the family, because he is a good चमचा of राहुल गांधी जी, इसलिए राहुल गांधी जी के साथ चल रहे और राहुल गांधी जी उसको टॉलरेट कर रहे हैं। और वही शशि थरूर जैसा एक अच्छा आदमी, टैलेंटेड आदमी है।
Okay, so you're saying perform or perish is not followed right to the last T. Okay, Sanjay ji, I'll just come back to you. Let me just open this up. This is a very important view. Rajat, let me bring him in. Rajat Sethi, are we not deliberately here discussing the elephant in the room, or should these leaders, instead of writing to the elephant in the room, shouldn't they just go on, move on, take their chances somewhere else? Otherwise, they know why they joined this party. They knew that the party was controlled by a family, there was dynastism, etc., etc. I mean, they knew. It's not as if the party was fooling them. I can't hear you, Rajat Sethi. I can't. I think you're mute. Yeah, go ahead. No, we still can't hear you. You're still on mute. You're still on mute. You're still on mute.
Sorry, what I was saying is essentially, Rahul, the real elephant in the room is Rahul Gandhi. While we are all beating around the bush and we are identifying faces like KC Venugopal, Khadge, all of these people, but the real problem is Rahul Gandhi. As long as he is there, he can only wax eloquent like a liberal arts professor in some university somewhere in the West. He will talk about concepts and bore the whole country around concepts of decentralization. I pity the poor Nagaland students who had to sit while he was opening the bonnet of the car and trying to explain the concepts of decentralization, when he himself is a symbol of centralization.
So we know the problem. How should these people react? Should they put up with this? Should they start an insurrection, or should they quit and take their chances somewhere else? Why are they sitting around there like courtiers and darbaris? They should quit.
There will be certain set of incompetent leaders who would want to stick around, because that is how they draw their power from.
But Tharoor isn't incompetent, Mr. Bhandari. Tharoor isn't incompetent. He's supposed to have cachet. So Rajat, I mean, why can't he just start his own party, the Kerala Congress, Tharoor faction? Get on with it.
This is where I think Congress doesn't have the playbook to manage competition within the institution. They haven't, they haven't been through the true test of democracy, where you have an open field and you have to test your mettle. Therefore, their nerves are not steel nerves.
Okay, let me bring in steel nerves or not. The point is, some people did. The Mamata Banerjees did, Mr. Bhandari, Pawar did, others did. They formed parties. They did well. Karuna Karan. We know all the stalwarts. Many people from the Congress went.
Rahul, the problem is, let's start with Mr. Sanjay Jha only. Our friend is a suspended congressman and he still appears for Congress, speaks for Congress, and he just got called bitter and myopic for giving suggestion. When the feedback system is so resistant to even your well-wishers, like Mr. Jha is, what would they bring in as a change? And it's not a new thing. Start from Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao, how he was treated in his later years, to Mr. Sitaram Kesari, to a laundry list of ex-congressmen who have become chief ministers. Mrs. Mamata Banerjee, Jagan Reddy. If you can have a Rahul Gandhi in party, why can't Jagan Reddy have been promoted in an adequate manner? He could create a party, become a chief minister himself. Mr. Hemanta Biswa Sarma, so many, the former Telangana chief minister. So the problem is not when you fix accountability. How do you fix accountability only at mid-level? When the biggest person to face accountability since at least 2012 has to be Mr. Rahul Gandhi.
Okay, the fact is that the elephant in the room is Rahul Gandhi. Problem, you hit the Gandhi glass ceiling. Why are all these leaders cribbing? Day after day writing letters. He's not bothered. Rahul Gandhi doesn't care. Do something about it. Form your own parties. Become part of a constructive opposition to the Congress. I don't know why the G20 suddenly withered away and subsumed itself once again. It re-immersed itself into the Congress. They should have led it to its final conclusion. It's happened in the past. Indira Gandhi faced a split. I leave it at this, viewers. There are many questions here, but unfortunately, you need the will. Vantage coming up with Palki Sharma.
Presented by
focus is on achieving a ceasefire as soon as possible and ultimately a permanent peace. My meeting with President Macron today was another important step forward in that sphere, because he's been very much involved right from the beginning in trying to get it over with, and we're going to get it done. I believe that Emmanuel agrees with me on many of the most important issues. Chief among them is this is the right time. It may be the only time, we're working on deals right now, transactions right now, and in particular, the big one is to get the war stopped, whether it's ceasefire or direct to an agreement.
I think it's good to have discussion. I think it's useful to have negotiation. I think it's super important to go to the peace. But my strong point was to say, let's try to get something first, which which can be assessed, checked and verified. And let's be sure that we build sufficient guarantees on the short run. And this is where we are ready to be engaged. As for France, a lot of my European colleagues are ready to be engaged. But we do need this American backup because this is part of the credibility of the security guarantees. And this is our collective deterrence capacity. Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you for the time.
We want peace. And I think the initiative of President Trump is a very positive one. Be careful, because we need something substantial for Ukraine, but for the security of Europe and France. And second, let's work together on the future to preserve security guarantees, meaning to be sure that this peace will be respected by Russia. First, to have a truce. I think it could be done in the weeks to come. During this period of time, we negotiate on security guarantees, land and territories, and it will be the responsibility of the Ukrainian president. Reconstruction. The US will have the deal on critical minerals and rare earths and so on.
Fine.
So we have to negotiate with the US, with the allies, with Ukraine, which type of security guarantee makes sense. It could be first, increase the capacities of Ukraine to maintain a strong army. We worked very hard together with the UK Prime Minister to have a French-UK proposal to say we are ready to send troops, not to go to the front line, not to go in confrontation, but to be, in some locations, being defined by the treaty, as a presence to maintain this peace and our collective credibility with the US backup and the US backstop. We didn't tariff the US. We want to cut red tape for us as Europeans, and it will simplify the life of your companies, fine. But I think the solution in this very moment is not to increase tariffs. Why? Because the emergency is to increase our defense and security expenditures. I understood your priority is to put tariff on China because President Trump said they are unfair with us. Come on, you cannot have a trade war with China and Europe at the same time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We very much appreciate the attention. Today's a big day in that we had a G7 and President Macron is a very special man in my book. We were together, we did it together, and I think a lot of progress has been made. We've had some very good talks with Russia. We've had some very good talks with others, and we're trying to get the war ended with Russia and Ukraine, and I think we've come a long way in a short period of weeks.
President, thank you. Thank you. No, thank you. I want to thank Mr. President for his hospitality. We had a good discussion this morning for the G7 here, and for the third year of this war in Ukraine, and I think our common objective clearly is to build peace and a solid and long.
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma.